Hello everyone and welcome back to Tea Time Crochet. Today we're going to be doing these fingerless gloves. They have a ribbing on both the cuff and on the fingers. I think they're really cute. And then it has a formed gusset for the thumb, which I really like. What it looks like on. It's really nice fitting. It's not loose. It's, pretty firm to your hand. The pattern is adjustable as long as you are using a multiple of 2, because you'll need a multiple of 2 for the rib. But other than that, you can adjust it to whatever size you're going to need. And it shouldn't affect the thumb gusset at all if you increase or decrease. Mine are a total of 26 stitches. So what I'd start off doing is I start off with a foundation double crochet, and then I join at the end of that, and it's 26 stitches. But I really like these, and they're really useful in the cold weather. And this yarn is the brown that I'm using is Lion Brand Heartland, and it is in the color I can never pronounce that, so that's what the color of this one is. But that's the brown. I'm going to be making a second pair in a blue, and it's also Lion Brand Heartland, and it is going to be Lake Clark. So to get started, the things that you're going to need are you're going to need some worsted weight yarn. Like I said, I'm just using what I have on hand, which I got this on clearance at Walmart a while back. And it's a really nice yarn. It's really nice and soft. But it's Lion Brand Heartland, and it is a number 4 worsted weight yarn. It calls for calling for a 6mm hook, but that's really big for a worsted weight yarn. I'm not quite sure why it's calling for a 6. Normally it's a 5.5, but the hook we're going to be using today is a 5mm, because I want my stitches to be, kind of tighter, because I want it to be form-fitting on my hand. I don't like it when they sag, so we're going to be using a 5mm hook. You're going to need some scissors, a yarn needle, the large eye. You may need a measuring tape. I just personally chained until it got, it reached around the widest part of my hand. But what you're going to need to figure out is you'll need to take the measurement of the widest part of your hand, and then on your arm where it's going to lay, so however long you want it to be. And you're going to kind of want to adjust your measurement somewhere in between those two. So if your arm is larger than your hand, you're going to want to have something closer to whatever your biggest measurement is. Mine is the width of my hand was larger than my arm, and I just chained until I foundation double crocheted until I got the width around that fit comfortably. You're also going to need some stitch markers. You're going to need 4 of them. These are just some ones that I made. You could use anything. You could use scrap yarn, you could use paper clips, which is most of the time what I use, but I did find these the other day, so I wanted to start using them again. And you're going to need 4 of those, and that's for the thumb gusset. You could probably get away with 2, but I find that when you're doing the thumb gusset, I like to know where my beginning stitches are, and then I move. So I put 1 on each side of the first row of the gusset, and then I move the other 2 up as I do the 5 rows of the thumb gusset, just to keep track of where I'm at. That way I can just, look at my stitch markers and say, okay, I know I need 1 more row, 2 more rows, whatever. But I just find it easy because the thumb gusset can really just blend in with the rest of the arm, and it's kind of hard to figure out where that beginning row is. It's just, a simple little thing. You don't have to do it. I just find it easy just to be able to look at it and say, okay, that's where it's at, instead of having to like dissect it. So those are the things that you're going to need. Okay, to get started, we're going to make a slip knot, but we're going to leave ourselves a fairly long tail because we're going to have to tie the bottom of our foundation double crochet in, so we may need a little bit more. So we're just going to do a slip knot. And we're going to start our foundation double crochet. So how to start that is we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to yarn over and double crochet into that first chain. And pull up a loop. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through that first loop to create this chain stitch. So initially what you're doing in a foundation double crochet is you're creating the chains and then the double crochets all in one step. So normally you would chain so many and then go back on the second row and double crochet into those chains. And doing this way, you're doing both steps at once. And it creates a really nice finished edge, which I really like. So now you're going to just complete the double crochet as normal. And what I like to do is I like to put my fingers on that chain stitch that we just created, and we're going to go back into that chain stitch and do another double crochet. So we're going to pull up a loop and we're going to yarn over and pull through that first loop again, creating another chain stitch. And then we're going to finish out our double crochet. So again, we're going to yarn over and go through that first, or that chain stitch right there that we made. I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to yarn over and pull through just that first loop to create our chain, and then we're going to finish out the double crochet as normal. So for this first row, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go and complete my 26. Yours may be different. You may have more, you may have less, depending on the size that you need, just as long as you remember it has to be a multiple of 2. So I will meet up with you when I have completed all my 26. Okay, I've completed my 26. This is what you should have so far. So what we're going to do is we're just going to connect to the first chain, or the first stitch, just like we normally would when we're joining the round. We're going to join that with a slip stitch, and we're going to pull that tight. So see, this is what I was talking about. It's only connected at the top. So what I like to do, because it bugs me, it may not bug you, but for me it bugs me when it flops around like that. I'm just going to go ahead and secure this real quick. And I just secure it with a little knot. It's on the inside, no one will see it. And then I will hide that tail later. But that just secures it so it's not open and flopping around. You don't have to do that. You can wait till the very end and then sew it in as you're hiding all your tails, but for me it bugs me when it's open like that. Okay, so now we're going to start our rib. And including this row, there's going to be a total of 5 rows. So we're going to chain 3, and this is not going to be a normal front post, back post rib. This is going to be a regular double crochet and a front post, regular double crochet and front post, and we're going to repeat that. So I have my chain 3, and in the next stitch I'm going to go around the post for a front post double crochet, and then the next stitch I'm going to do a normal double crochet, and then a front post double crochet, and I'm just going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, so I'm just going to finish out this row, just repeating those 2 stitches back and forth, and then I will meet you at the end when I'm done. Okay, and I've completed all my stitches. You'll know that you did it right if you landed on a post stitch. So it should complete the pattern, because our first was just a regular double crochet or a chain 3. So we're just going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch, just like that, and then we're going just to repeat that. So we're going to chain 3, and it gets easier now because now you know, you can kind of see where your front posts are. So you're going to front post on top of the front post and double crochet on top of the double crochets. And we're just going to keep doing that until we have a total of 5 rows, including the first foundation double crochet row. So I'm going to go ahead and go complete all those 5 rows, and then I will meet up with you when I'm done with that. Okay, I've completed my 5 rows of ribbing. This is what it should look like so far, and I just joined to the top of that chain 3. Now for the next part, there's a couple different ways you could do this. You can chain 3 here, or you could do a single crochet chain 1, or you could do an alternative double crochet. It doesn't matter which stitch you put here first. I do prefer ones that tend to hide the seam a little bit better, so I'm going to do a single crochet chain 1, and I feel that fills the gap a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 3 rows. So we're just going to put in the top of each stitch just a regular double crochet. And we're going to do that for 3 rows. So when we get to the end of our row and we've done our last stitch, we're just going to join to the top of your chain 3 or whatever it is you chose to do with a slip stitch, and you're going to complete a total of 3 rows of just this plain double crochet. And when I have completed my 3 rows, I'll come back. Okay, I've completed my 3 rows of double crochet, and now we're going to start the thumb gusset. So I'm going to do a single crochet chain 1 as my double crochet here, and I'm going to put a stitch marker. I'm just going to pop it around it, just around the leg of the stitch. And then we're going to put another double crochet into that same space, so it's going to be an increase. And then in the next stitch we're going to put 1 double crochet. And then in the next stitch we're going to put 2 double crochets for another increase. And again, I'm just going to pop a stitch marker in around the post of that last double crochet. And you don't have to do this, but I just find it easiest because it shows me where I started. And that is the first part of the gusset for this row, and for the rest of the row we're just going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch. Oops. Okay, so I'm just going to finish out my row with 1 double crochet in each stitch, and I will meet you back at the end. Okay, so I'm at my last stitch, and I'm just going to slip to the stitch into the top of this double crochet here, and that completes my round. So between our stitch markers here is our thumb gusset. So we've increased 2 stitches. So for the next row we're going to do our thumb gusset and then complete out the rest of the row with double crochets. So I'm just going to do my double crochet here, or your chain 3, or whatever it is you're choosing to do. I'm just going to say chain 3 from now on. That way it doesn't get confusing. And I just popped in another stitch marker on that. And then in that same stitch we're going to put another double crochet. And then in the next 3 stitches we're going to put 1 double crochet. And then in that last stitch that our stitch marker's on, we're going to put 2 double crochets. And then I'm going to pop in a stitch marker on that last double crochet. That just lets me know that that's where my thumb is starting and ending. Now for the rest of the row, we're just going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around, and I will meet up with you when I've completed that. Okay, I'm to the end of the row, and I'm just going to slip stitch to join. So there, we've increased another 2 stitches, and that is a total of, for the first row, it's a total of 5 stitches for the thumb gusset, and then this one is a total of 7 stitches. Okay, so we're going to chain 3. And I'm just going to move up my stitch marker. And then we're going to put another double crochet into that same stitch. And then 1 double crochet for the next 5 stitches. Sorry if you can hear all that noise out there. It seems like it never fails when I go to do a video. Somebody's mowing their lawn or making some noise. Dogs barking, trains going by. So I just gotta try and push through it anyway. I'm to my last stitch of the thumb, so I'm going to put my increase in there. So I'm going to put 2 double crochets. 1, 2, and I'm going to move my stitch marker up. That one was being difficult. And that is the 3rd row of our thumb gusset, and we're just going to complete out the row with 1 double crochet into each stitch, and I will meet you back at the beginning. Okay, I just slipped stitch to join, and that is the end of row 3, or round 3, and there is a total of 9 stitches for the thumb gusset for round 3. So round 4, start off with our chain 3. I'm going to move this stitch marker up, and then I'm going to put another double crochet into that stitch. And this one is going to have a total of 11 stitches for the thumb gusset. So I did my chain 3 and the increase, another double crochet in that same stitch, and then I'm going to put 1 double crochet in each one of the next double crochets until we get to the last stitch, and then we're going to put 2. So 1 double crochet in each across till we get to our stitch marker. Okay, so this is our stitch marker. We know we need to put 2 double crochets into that stitch for our increase. So, and I need to move that up. So that is what you should have so far, and then just complete out the rest of the row by putting 1 double crochet in each stitch, and I will meet you back when I get to the beginning again. Okay, so I've finished out row 4, or round 4, with just a slip stitch to join. And then for our last row or round for the gusset, We're going to chain 3. We're going to move up our stitch marker. I'm going to put another double crochet into that stitch, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet over in every stitch until we get to our stitch marker here. And for this round, it should be a total of 13 stitches. Now I've made it to my stitch marker, so I know I need to put 2 double crochet into that stitch. So that is the thumb gusset complete. We're going to complete the rest of the round, and then I'm going to show you how to join the sides of the gusset. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will meet up with you at the end of this row. Okay, I've made it back to my last stitch, and I'm just going to slip stitch to join. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold our gusset in half, and we're going to find our stitch marker from our last increase here, and we're just going to slip stitch. Let's see if I can get this where you can see it. Slip stitch to join and then pull that tight. So that will close off the thumb. And then right here you're just going to chain 3, and then you're going to continue in your rib stitch. So I chained 3 here. I know I need to go in the next one and do, oops, my front post double crochet, so I did my chain 3 and then a front post double crochet, a regular double crochet, and a front post, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around until we get back to the beginning where we started. And we're going to do this for a total of 4 rows. So I'll do a little bit more with you. So regular double crochet, front post double crochet in the next, regular double crochet in the next, front post. And then we're just going to complete this round, and we're going to have a total of 4 a total of 4 rows for this. So we're going to do 3 more rows after this, and then I will meet up with you at the end of that. Okay, I completed I'm back to the beginning of my row. I did want to show you real quick this last stitch. It should be a front post stitch, and it's going to be the one with your stitch marker on it. It's kind of hidden in there, so but you do want to make sure that you get it, otherwise your stitch count will be off. And then you'll just slip stitch to join. And that's what it should look like. But you want to make sure that you get that stitch right there. because that is your last stitch, and it's kind of tucked underneath the thumb gusset. But now you're going to complete 3 more rounds of the ribbing stitch, and then you will fasten off and sew in all your ends. Okay, I've just slip stitched to join. I finished my 4 rows, so I'm just going to fasten off. And this is what you should have. You could do less rows here if you want, or you could do more. On the brown gloves, I only did 3 rows. But I was thinking on this one I might do 4 rows, and I think it might go a little bit closer to my knuckles. So this is what it should look like. You have your nice formed thumb gusset. And I'll pull all my stitch markers out, and then I can put it on and show you. So this is what it should look like. Yeah, I like it a little bit further down towards my knuckles, so I think that's a little bit nicer. But you can make them in a lot of different colors and have one for every day if you'd like. But I really like how the thumb gusset is formed. It looks a lot nicer than if you just single crochet around the thumb or leave the thumb open. I really like it this way instead of that way. But now all you'll need to do is just hide all your ends and complete your other glove, and you'll be done. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.